With New Year's resolutions, many of us will make a vow to eat healthier, and that's a good thing. But what about our beloved pets and their nutrition? Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black here, and I'm on a mission to provide better nutrition for cats and dogs because truthfully, all pet food is dead food, which is why we created Rough Greens and Meow Greens in the first place. We bring their food back to life with live vitamins, minerals, probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, antioxidants, and so much more. All in a tasty formula that your dog and cat will love. You can improve your pet's coat, digestion, energy, and have less vet bills. Let 2025 bring a new year and a new pet. Get a Jumpstart trial bag, normally $20. Get a 100% discount with promo code BESTFRIEND. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com, use promo code BESTFRIEND. Bring your pet's food back to life with Rough Greens. So good, your pet will ask for it by name.
Oh, sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready. No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to report.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. Don't forget, July 3rd. July 3rd, the show will be changing its time slot. I will be moving to 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday through Friday, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. Oh. Have you ever had a day you're just blah, blah? I can't get into it. I had some really bad news yesterday, and it's kind of got me in personal that's affecting my family. And I'm just like, son of a bitch. Really? So, all right, well, I have one bit of good news, and this one, as soon as I heard it, I was like, this has got to be fake news. And I don't mean as in the CNN running all these bullshit stories to try to damage Trump or Washington Post every night. Anonymous sources say, I'm talking, conspiracy theory, out in the woods type bullshit articles that are out there. And then I started researching it, and it was true. Trump ordered the government to shut down a department and stop work on the Y2K bug. There was a division set up to combat the Y2K issue. And we're not talking Jericho here. We're talking the actual computer virus bug. 17 years after it passed, the federal government will finally stop prepping for it. I was like, oh, this has got to be bullshit. No, Trump administration announced Thursday that it would eliminate dozens of paperwork requirement for federal agencies, including an obscure rule that requires them to continue providing updates on their preparedness for a bug that affected some computers at the turn of the century, As in another example, the Pentagon will be freed from requirement that it file a report every time a small business vendor is paid, a task that consumes some 1,200 man-hours every year. Now, that starts to add up. This is some of the waste everybody's been bitching about. Besides paying for, studies and putting shrimp on little mini treadmills and making them run on treadmills. Or doing studies to see why dykes are fat. And listen, not my words, that's the words of the study. Don't jump on me for improper, politically correct bullshit. Why does it feel like now like my ears are clogged? Oh, don't tell me I'm getting sick again. I know I'm getting sick and tired. I can say that with honesty. Deregulation is a major ambition of President Donald Trump's agenda. As one example, he has signed more laws rolling back his predecessor's regulation than the combined total of the three previous presidents since the process was established by the 1999 Congressional Review Act. It's 7 of more than 50 paperwork requirements the White House eliminated on Thursday dealt with a Y2K bug. According to a memo OMB released, officials at the agency estimate the change could save tens of thousands of man-hours across the federal government. The agency didn't provide an estimate of how much time is currently spent on Y2K work. But it was acknowledged that it isn't a lot since those requirements are already often ignored in practice. It's saving money. It may not be going to balance the budget, but when you start looking at these little bullshit that go on, they start to add up. When you start looking at all of them and you keep going at it, budget probably could get balanced by doing away with this wasteful spending on treadmills for shrimp and reporting on Y2K and doing studies of why dykes are fat. And the list can just go on and on. Well, one good thing, weather-wise, changing the subject a little bit. Just like 2 weeks ago, we were starting to get...
With New Year's resolutions, many of us will make a vow to eat healthier, and that's a good thing. But what about our beloved pets and their nutrition? Greetings, Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black here, and I'm on a mission to provide better nutrition for cats and dogs because, truthfully, all pet food is dead food, which is why we created Rough Greens and Meow Greens in the first place. We bring their food back to life with live vitamins, minerals, probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, antioxidants, and so much more. All in a tasty formula that your dog and cat will love. You can improve your pet's coat, digestion, energy, and have less vet bills. Let 2025 bring a new year and a new pet. Get a Jumpstart trial bag, normally $20. Get a 100% discount with promo code BESTFRIEND. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com, use promo code BESTFRIEND. Bring your pet's food back to life with Rough Greens. So good, your pet will ask for it by name.
Drought warnings and all this. Rainy season hadn't really started, but holy snikes. I think it's rained every single day, or missed maybe like 1 or 2 days the last week and a half here in Florida and Tampa. And I just looked outside, and the skies are a little gray. And it helped. I love it because of all my flowers. And there's been some weather that helped you go out. But we get those little showers, especially right around 4 o'clock. Oh, my God, we've been getting some storms in. I love it. Nice thunder. I think it was last year we didn't get, or the year before, we didn't get like any thunderstorm roll through, and I thought that was really weird. But so far we've had like 4 or 5 major thunderstorms roll through. I mean, it was so bad a couple years ago we lost the title of being the thunder capital of the world. So we lost the title. It looks like we may be getting it back. It's itsy bitsy spider. And this helps because I got a lot of plants, and it saves me time because I haven't been, I was down sick and everything. I couldn't go out and do watering of my flowers and junk, so that helped out majorly. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't know. I've been spending a lot of time on Twitter of late, and I just, holy shit, people. Holy shit. Calm down. Pump your brakes a little bit. I'm serious. Pump your brakes a little bit. I mean, we have a crisis in this country. And the divide is like never seen in modern time. Probably the last time the divide in political parties was this bad, it was right before the Civil War. Now, I'm not trying to be facetious. I think that is probably the last time we were this bad. It's not getting better even after, what is it, Wednesday's shooting? It's not getting any better. It's actually getting worse. We're going to get more into it. Because one side is rightfully blaming and pointing it out, and the other side is getting worse with their rhetoric and violence. Now, I know I didn't help last night on Twitter. I had a schmuck coming at me. And, I mean, he was getting a little really insulting, cussing up a storm. So I kind of ended this conversation real quick. And I did it a couple times last night because these people, they're rabid. They are rabid right now. Especially they want gun control. And it's like, oh my God, wait a minute. A Democrat went on a shooting spree. And now the Democrats wants to take guns away. Maybe if Democrats calm themselves down, we won't be having these shootings because most of these shootings have been happening by Democrat people. They're registered Democrats. They vote Democrats. And they're the ones doing the shootings. I'm going to get to an article. I'm going to get off this Y2K, and we'll come back to some stuff. Because this one article I saw really stuck out at me. And it just blew my mind with this article because it hit home, and I thought it was dead on. Dead on. The established media is giving the VA shooters leftist politics a pass. Okay? They're trying to blow that off about his politics. They blow it off that he attacked Republicans only. But I give you a hypothetical situation I want you to think about. The same shooting happened, but it came out that he was a Tea Party supporter. Now imagine the media cover that would then happen. There would be outrageous coverage, nonstop, about how the conservative Tea Party is out to kill us. Oh my God, they would be banning them as hate crime group, terrorist groups. I'm not joking there. It would be that's how it would be. They would be going absolutely apeshit. And an executive editor for Newsbusters brought this up regarding the media's reaction to the shooting at a Republican baseball practice that critically injured Representative Steve Scalise. He also talked about the backlash of Megyn Kelly's interview with Alex Jones. Graham commented on MSNBC anchor Andrea Mitchell's reporting on the shooting by saying, in 2011, when Congresswoman Gabby Gifford was shot, they jumped on the idea that it was the Tea Party. In Denver, they jumped on the notion that the shooter was the Tea Party. In both cases, they didn't have anything. Here in this case, it's quite clear. Graham, the gentleman, what is his name? Tim Graham was speaking to host Raheem Kassam. But Graham continued, that's not to say Bernie Sanders is in any way responsible for this. It just means they have liked to, in the past, associated conservative politics with violence or a climate of hate. They had no problem linking it when it was the conservatives. But now when it's pointing at, well, the left is the goddamn violent one, now they want to ignore it. And now they're trying to make them out to be the victim. They're blaming Trump for the shooting. This is what's funny. They're blaming Trump, but as you have Antifa, that little cocksucking teenage group, praising the shooter. They're hailing him a hero. But yes, I could see how it's the conservatives' fault. It blows my mind. It's our fault that a Democrat who's been listening to the rhetoric from the left goes and shoots Republicans, but it's our fault. The left has been ramping up to this. They've been ramping up to it. And they finally had someone that jumped out and did it. And you even have some on the left that are praising it. And it pisses me off. I mean, it's... You got politicians, oh, we're not going to blame Bernie Sanders. No, his rhetoric in the past. He has pushed the rhetoric. I mean, they have demonized, they have dehumanized the Conservative Party and conservatives, and now they're shocked someone went and did the shooting. What did they expect was going to happen? I will not let up on this. This is the left's doing, and they don't care. They're in the public light because they have to, well, we don't support this. Well, you're the one that's been running your mouth to ramp up to this. You radicalized that guy with your speeches. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying calf for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its host, the Jersey Boy. Series, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverbcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. It's... Hang on a second. It's... I'm absolutely amazed. And, hold on one second. Hold on. I got something going on I take care of just for a second. I'm going to put a little music on. It shouldn't take that long. Just give me 1 minute, and I'll be right back. Where is it? Hold on. And I'm back. Sorry about that. Dang, personal life when I'm trying to do this show. Sorry about that. You got 4 minutes of some great music there. All right, where are we? The establishment media. That's right. We were talking about establishment media. They are just blowing off and refusing to take responsibility and acknowledge that it is their rhetoric that radicalized this man. I mean, we're going to take words out of their own book because this is a lone wolf attack by the left, and they radicalized him. He did not go on a shooting of both Democrat and Republicans. So Mrs. Pelosi's, this was an attack on all of us. No, it wasn't. Because she's already started her rhetoric. She was calling for unity that didn't even last 24 hours. And we'll get to that in a couple minutes. This guy's politics is what played the part of him going on a shooting. And now you got the left going, we'll never know. Yes, we do know. They always say that when it doesn't fit their narrative. We'll never know what the guy's reason. Yes, we do. We're hearing comments from his neighbors that he was an asshole. And that's how they're putting it. He was an asshole. He had been politically radicalized. And I don't engage on Twitter or anywhere anymore with these radicalized left when they get all huffy and puffy. Because more and more they're getting triggered into violence. And I'm not going to be a part of that. We talked about it the other day. I have enough threats. A lot of us conservative commentators have gotten those threats. And it goes both ways. There's people on the right that are nut jobs making comments like that. I just... I don't know. It's... They can't, they're not willing to learn and say, hell, you know what? Yeah, we may have went too far. We're not saying we are responsible, but we went too far for what we had to say, and we do need to tone down the rhetoric. And trying to get our point across, we went over the line, and we are going to do a better job at watching our analogy. But every day we go out there, it's the end of the world. The Republicans are going to kill people. They're killing people to just win votes. It's really getting to the point. I get scared doing the show sometimes. I'm serious. I don't know. It's we're really going down a path that's not good. Now, we're going to be talking more about this, and I even got they're celebrating. And you got Huffington Post writers, you got Washington Post writers that are celebrating the shooter or the shooting of the Republicans. You have, as I said, Antifa that hail the shooter as a hero. I don't know. All right, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will go over more of this, and I have some video clips I want to play. We will be right back.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Catherine is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. It is absolutely weird. It's we got a major issue in this country. We do. We have become a very split country. We were not this split 9 years ago, 10 years ago. There was difference. There was arguments. A lot of people couldn't agree on politics. But when Obama came in, he vilified, dehumanized conservatives. And that rift has just grown apart and apart and apart and apart. It's scary how far it has actually gone. I don't know what the answer is, and can we get back to where we were? Can we even get back to a slight resemblance of where we were and who we were? No. I'm going to get that video up, or the audio. This is from Fox, and they're asking, how long will the unity among lawmakers last?
Steve, in his own way, may have brought some unity to our long-divided country.
Throughout the whole game, we will all be Team Scalise.
We seem to forget that words matter and can become seeds that will bring a bitter harvest.
Today it's the anti-Trump fervor that inspires people in social media, in Hollywood.
I would argue that the president has unleashed is partially, again, not in any way totally, but partially to blame for demons that have been unleashed.
Calls for a rhetorical ceasefire in the wake of yesterday's shooting in Alexandria, Virginia, and more calls for unity. But how long will it last? Let's bring in our panel. Judge Andrew Napolitano is with us, Fox News senior judicial analyst. Mara Liasson, national political correspondent of National Public Radio, editor-in-chief of LifeZette. Laura Ingraham and syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer. It's not even like the shooting coverage lasted a day before the Washington Post came out with the breaking news story, Laura, yesterday that, now the president is being investigated for potential obstruction of justice. It's like we can't stay on one thing very long without it coming back to political division.
5 anonymous sources in the Washington Post story indicating that the...
Right, I'm going to play that again.
The special counsel is members of the Intelligence Committee. Post story indicating that the...
it coming back to political division.
5 anonymous sources.
5 anonymous sources. And I'll talk about that. There's some comments that came out.
The special counsel has interviewed members of the intelligence community, 5 people unauthorized to speak, so they spoke on the condition of anonymity. But I think what you saw today was nice. It was heartening. But I think some of the kumbaya mentality that we've heard over the last 24 hours does also kind of gloss over just how low we've gone. And I'd say from the Ferguson riots to Baltimore, the total lack of respect for the police, to Berkeley, to Middlebury, where someone like a Charles Murray is treated abysmally, where you justify burning cars, turning them over, writing the F word on the American flag. This is a type of carnage which is going to get worse unless both parties speak out against how it incites the already deranged among us. And it's disturbing.
Judge, we've seen calls for unity in the past, and they lasted maybe a couple of weeks after 9/11. How long do you expect this is going to last?
I agree with everything that Laura just said, and I don't think this call for unity will last much longer. I was just telling Mara that I really feel for and worry about Steve Scalise, and it just doesn't look good at this point. But whatever happens to him, I think they're going to be back in the pits, at each other's throats, fighting tooth and nail, using language which just sends the wrong signals to young people who regurgitate it on social media. So this is self-fulfilling and self-producing and self-regenerating. The concept of every hill is worth dying for and every battle is a battle to the death.
Yesterday, the House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi was saying, I identify with the eloquent remarks of the Speaker of the House. Listen to what she said today.
I think that the comments made by my Republican colleagues are outrageous, beneath the dignity of the job that they hold, beneath the dignity of the respect that we would like Congress to command. How dare they say such a thing? How dare they?
She was reacting to some of the comments by some Republicans that the Democrats need to tone down some of the rhetoric that they're using. I mean, Mara, can these two stop warring with each other?
Well, look, they should fight tooth and nail over policy. That's what we expect. But the blaming each other and using rhetoric that incites violence has to stop. And both parties have a lot to do with it. There's not one party that's guilty here. If Republicans are blaming Democrats for this incident, that's just as bad as Democrats blaming Republicans for some other violent incident. I think it can change. It just takes political will. And everything that we saw in the last 24 to 48 hours was pretty good. You had the president, who was very quick often to be divisive, because that's a political strategy that works for him. He didn't do that here. So let's just see what happens as we go forward in the next couple of days.
In the middle of all of this, Charles, an editorial in the New York Times, which again repeated the much discredited meme that a Sarah Palin ad was responsible for Gabby Gifford's shooting. So even the media is in on this game, too, not just the political side.
No, I agree. I mean, that editorial this morning repeating that was not only scandalous but unbelievable, because that's a 6-year-old story that's been debunked within 3 days, when it turned out it had nothing at all to do with her, and the man who did the shooting was a paranoid schizophrenic. I think the problem here is it's twofold. It's not just the style, but it's also the objectives. There's now a style in our politics where the ad hominem is the norm, and that's the wrong. I mean, people ought to fight over policy, but once you begin to question the motives, the patriotism of your opponent, you've gone too far. But the worst thing, and I think this is overlooked, the two parties, the two ideologies, you might say, speak about the politics in apocalyptic terms. If the other guy wins, it's the end of the republic. If the other guy wins, it's the end of the world. The man who did the shooting yesterday is a man who bought into that quite literally. I mean, you can speak about hyperbolically, but when those are the stakes, when you say, unless we stop Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, the republic will not survive, then that justifies anything. That's the language, the ideology, the rationale of terrorists. The fate of the world hangs on this. And it's up to the leadership to say these are policies. This is not the fate of the republic.
And it happened again today in Georgia, the race for the 6th congressional district. And we know how rancorous that has been. Today, some suspicious packages were delivered to Karen Handel's house and her neighbors. She had a statement saying, quote, "This afternoon we had some suspicious packages delivered to our house and to our neighbors. The packages contained threatening letters and a suspicious substance. The police were quickly notified, and the street is now being blocked off. We will continue to coordinate with law enforcement as necessary." Laura, I read the letter. You certainly can't repeat it on television, right. But the vitriol was just vile.
That is echoed by other congressmen who say that at these town hall meetings, it's not just raising your hand and asking a tough question, which I think is great. That's what those town hall meetings should be. But it's a level of viciousness and vitriol that we see on social media, but usually that's an anonymous thing. But now people are emboldened, and they're actually saying it in person. They're doing chalk drawings of people and their families on their driveways. So they wake up in the morning and they see a chalk drawing. But I think Charles is right. This apocalyptic language we hear on other cable networks, where these are supposedly very respected hosts who get up every morning and say, "Will our republic survive Donald Trump?" In other words, the resistance
right there it is.
A physical resistance. If you believe your survival is at risk, it's almost, you have a moral duty to physically resist that, and I think this freak yesterday took it to heart.
Judge Amar, can we dial back from this? How do we dial back?
Well, I don't know. I mean, every time 5 or 6 or 10 members of Congress going to appear in public, do we have to have 50 cops with them?
It looks like it.
Are they going to start carrying weapons themselves? Many of them carry sidearms at home, and they're not allowed to carry them here in D.C.
There's a lot of things that can be done to dial back. First of all, how about members of Congress doing things together? This baseball game is an incredibly rare.
Doesn't fit the zero-sum game.
Doesn't fit the zero-sum game, but they can force themselves to do that because that's how things used to work a long time ago. The president can set a tone. I thought he did set the tone yesterday. He can keep it up. He doesn't have to demonize his enemies. And every single person in a position of leadership can conduct themselves with restraint, and they know, every member of leadership privately will tell you they can't stand what's going on and how things have devolved. So, okay, change it.
All right.
What the president can do is to declare in advance that the outcome of the ball game is a tie.
I don't necessarily know he's going to do that, Charles.
It's so bad that, CNN posted right before the game, all the players from both sides, Republican and Democrat, got together, huddled together, and prayed for Scalise. CNN puts Democrats gather. It's this polarization, but they're always... And Nancy Pelosi runs out there, yes, well, Fox is responsible for this, and they push this. And, Fox isn't the one out there screaming that people are going to die. It's the end of the country. It's the end of the world. Oh, my God, the sky's falling. That's CNN and MSNBC, Washington Post, New York Times that are doing those articles. You have Huffington Post writer Jesse Bean defending shooting of the Republicans. And the Secret Service does need to open an investigation into the shameful and disgrace who, not surprisingly, writes for the radical leftist Huffington Post. He wrote an article, "Sorry Liberals, a violent response to Trump is as logical as any." And he put out a tweet June 14th. What's more harmful, putting millions already on the margins more at risk via draconian policies, or shooting a racist lawmaker in the hip? That's what we got in our liberal writings. And then everybody's shocked when some fucking nut job takes that to heart and goes out there and does shootings. I would not be surprised if it happens again. When you got writers like this, and he's not the only one, there's a host of articles. And then he also writes, this is on Twitter, "For violent resistance to work, it'll need to be organized. Individual acts can be understandable, but likely counterproductive and ineffective." The man is calling for civil war, and I've read through his tweets. He is egging people, and he is pushing it, a civil war. Then the left sits there and goes, "We didn't do nothing. We're innocent. We didn't do nothing." Look to your writers. Right there. Look to your writers on what they have to say. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and I will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Catherine is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. We have leaks all over the place. We got more leaks than the goddamn Titanic right now. But Rosenstein came out and warns Americans to exercise caution about anonymous reports. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein said Thursday evening that Americans should exercise caution before believing anonymous source reports, an apparent reference to ongoing leaks surrounding the investigation into alleged connections between Russian officials and President Trump's campaigns. Quote, Americans should exercise caution before accepting as true any story attributed to anonymous officials, particularly when they do not identify the country, let alone the branch or agency of government with which the alleged source supposedly are affiliated. Hey, maybe we found where the true Russian interference is coming from when there might be calling up Washington Post and quote-unquote leaking information when they're really giving fake information to interfere with our government, where we have Washington Post and their Trump derangement syndrome willing to accept anybody and everybody calling up. And it goes past that. I really don't think anybody's calling and leaking. I think you got a bunch of reporters that sit there and go, well, they can't prove, they can't make us show who these anonymous sources are, so we'll make up the stories and just attribute it to a anonymous source. They got hard-ons for Trump. They want to destroy our democratically elected president. They want to overturn the laws because of their embarrassment, and they will stoop to any low. They are, I would not put it past them, straight out lying about their quote-unquote anonymous sources and just creating things out of their head to post. Because every time the media, the press, social media gets good steam where liberals are on the ropes and backtracking this week, every time there's bad news for the Democrats, all of a sudden, Washington Post, we have a breaking story. Anonymous sources tell us, and we've seen it several times this week. Anonymous sources tell us. Well, anonymous source tells me that Washington Post is full of shit. Anonymous sources tell me they're making up stories. Anonymous sources tell me that the writers run around the building in tutus singing happy birthday to Ronald McDonald. You can create anything you want if you can just contribute to an imaginary anonymous source. Or that anonymous sources themselves. It goes to radicals. Rules for radicals. You can't disprove a negative. They're wrapping up this administration into these goddamn investigation. We got 7 months worth of investigation. What has it shown? Loretta Lynch covered for Hillary Clinton. Loretta Lynch pressured Comey into calling it a matter instead of investigation, which it was, into Hillary. What we learned is Loretta Lynch, well, had a massive conflict of interest and never stepped down. Loretta Lynch obstructed justice with her meeting of the suspect's husband. Let me ask you something. Where was the independent counsel to investigate Hillary Clinton on her email? Where was the independent counsel to investigate Hillary on Benghazi and all the lies that were told about Benghazi? Where was the independent counselor on the IRS scandal, HHS scandal, Fast and Furious scandal? Where's the independent counsel on investigating Susan Rice for unmasking? We don't have any independent investigations on that, but we have this fucking bullshit Trump myth. Oh, he colluded with Russia. No evidence, no nothing to back it up. But you have them out there beating their war drums, and you got the fucking idiots on Twitter. The Washington Post. Some asshole actually, I couldn't believe it, posted a New York Times article. Here's my proof. No, that's accusation for number one, you moron. God, it just... Then they, oh, you fucking idiot. And they just start insulting. I know I curse sometimes on the show, but when I'm doing Twitter and I'm doing one-on-one with these window lickers, I don't get into the insulting, all that. But that's all they do. They start to lose an argument. They just start insulting. Now, last night I wasn't in the goddamn mood. Had some very bad news come in, and this jackass wanted to light me up. So maybe I'm going to stop with the niceness and start treating them the way the fuck they treat me. I have absolutely had it with this bullshit. And if they want to take it to that level, we can take it to that level. And there's violence that they're trying to perpetuate. And a couple of them last night. Oh, bring it on. You know, trying to get all big and tough behind a computer. It's like, fuck you. Bring it. Try it. As one person put it, you idiots are the ones that are against guns. You can't shoot worth the shit. We found that out the other day. You know, unfortunately, he got one good shot. Well, a couple of good shots, but for the most part, he missed. Stuart Varney, I believe that's how everything's pronounced, called out Democrats and the left for offering not a word of remorse for the climate of violence they did so much to create. And if the roles were reversed, they would be out there pounding the pavement, mandating that we apologize. That every single Republican, that every Republican politician denounce every bit of violence. Come on. You had David Duke say some nice things about Trump, and Trump had to go out there for weeks on end and denounce David Duke. But you have Antifa. Hold on. I got some issues there. Here. Come on. I really hate this mixing board. Really do. There we go. You have Antifa, who's out there committing all these atrocities. Hang on. And I don't hear a single Democrat. This isn't any better, is it? God damn it. Nope. All right. Let's try. Oh, wait a minute. Do we have it? I think we do. We don't have a single Democrat politician going out there and denouncing the Antifa violence. What do we? They have a right to protest. They have a right to gather. They have a right. it's when are they going to be held to their standard? When are they going to step up and be responsible for their own actions, for what they caused? There is a link between the climax of violence, God damn this mixing board, and the violence attack on Republicans. It is a link that the left should acknowledge, but they will not. How about Kathy Griffin's holding a severed head? What is it? The theater in the park where they're stabbing Trump to death. And if anybody thinks this is the last incident that's going to happen, you're fooling yourself. And this isn't a goddamn gun debate now. Oh, that brings me to something. I was given an article that I want to go over. Oh, I definitely want to go over. Yeah, definitely want to go over. Judge Wapner's on at 5. Oh, where is it? I know I saved that damn article. All right, we'll solve this. Let's see. I know I'm being very bad at not having everything up and running. I swore I tagged this for today. Where's that? Yeah. So Seattle gun tax failure. We're going to talk about. Maybe not right this moment. Maybe not this moment. But we'll get to it. The left, they've lost it. And you have, you got the congressmen, they're trying to, right after having promote unity, both sides saying they must, right is meaning the emotional rhetoric needs to be calm. But it's Illinois Democrat Senator Sherrod Brown became indignant with a reporter accusing her of making a false equivalency and practicing false journalism for asking whether Democrats have ramped up violent rhetoric since the presidential election last year. They have gone out there beating the drum, crying how it's the end of the world. But yet he jumps on and blames Trump for name-calling and encouraging divisiveness. Don't ask me where that came in. Show me where he's encouraged diversity. The left has broken the rule of decency, and there is no sign they're turning back. And when the left, the haters, keep going like this, we all lose. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plain Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Cap for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. Let's see. But I'm serious. I am not getting in these big arguments with these leftists anymore. They're getting triggered so easy. And it's... No, not dealing with it. You know, and they find it funny. They think this is a big joke. And oh, well, we're winning the conversation, so, ooh. No, you're not. It's, you're they're running down a rabbit hole that's not good. And when they go around and start shooting people, one thing we got to do, we got to get our government to start looking into Antifa. I mean, maybe they are and we don't know. And maybe it's good that we don't know. Maybe it's damn good that we don't know just yet. Need to put them on their heels. They are an internal damage. You know, when we're talking about that, the AG speaking out, you know, and one of the things he said is, you know, when they don't put up about what country the anonymous sources are, sounds more like the left is pushing Russia interference. That they're a part of this Russian interference. It was never Trump. Maybe it's the left that is colluding with Russia to interfere in our election, especially with their laws. Why not take the help if they could try to take down the elected president? This whole conspiracy theory that they got going about collusion sounds more like a Russian misinformation campaign. It's one way to take down governments Russia has done. I think we need to start looking into the left and their collusion, their connections to Russia. Start looking into the Washington Post, New York Times. Start peeking into underneath their skirt to see where Russia lies with them. Seriously, I honestly believe that. Maybe this whole Russian interference has a truth to it. But it's not coming from Trump. The interference is coming from the left. Because they are interfering with our government working right now. Instead of doing their jobs, they're more worried about trying to investigate a false story that they know is false. They know there's no truth to the collusion. There's no evidence, but they keep it going. What would they be in the news for if it wasn't for this? They'd be an afterthought. You know, it's... I haven't done it yet. I want to put out some well wishes to Dan the Man Butcher. He's a little bit under the weather. Dan, you're in our thoughts, and hope you're feeling better, bro. We need you. Ooh, excuse me. I have not seen so much hypocrisy in my life, one-sided. There's a small announcement that Donald Trump may be announcing a Cuba policy change in restriction. Looks like Maddow's starting to lose sponsors. She lost LegalZoom.com. You know, the left has been doing these tactics. Now the right is stepping up and doing the exact same tactics. And they're going to lose because Then you have another writer, I forget who he writes for. He's a James Devine. He wrote, "We are in a war with selfish, foolish, and narcissist rich people. Why is it a shock when things turn violent? Hashtag hunt Republican congressman. I can only stand so much hand-wringing on Fox News. Let's repeal the Second Amendment and make America safe." It's being reported that Russia has killed ISIS leader al-Baghdadi. That would be a reason why Democrats want to start a war with Russia. They just killed the guy they armed. Oh, and because there's a lot of misinformation, the shooter did not use an AR-15. It was not an AR-15, and I wondered about it when I was hearing the audio or the video from the shooting. It did not sound like an AR-15. I know it was a .7.62 caliber. It was at SKS, actually. It was the predecessor before the AK-47, and it's pretty much a regular rifle. It's not at the assault rifles that you would think. It's so everybody's freaking out is for nothing. Let's see. Special report from Judicial Watch. FBI Director Mueller's purge of training material deemed offensive to Muslims. You know what's funny? I got the phone call from my mom when Washington Post broke that story that late evening of Donald Trump is under investigation now because they had 5 anonymous sources. And I had already seen it. I'm just sitting there chuckling away. Because 5 anonymous sources. I went, that's bullshit story right there. And the timing, Democrats were under major fire from the shooting already of House Whip Scalise. And I just found it funny, the timing. All of a sudden this breaks to change the news cycle. And the 5 anonymous sources. And I was like, wait a minute, something's not right here. My mom called and she's upset. She's like, what the heck's going on? And I put it to her like that, and she was like, yeah, that does make sense. And now, if you notice, that story died pretty quick. That one went to the side. Washington Post has been pushing fake stories. It is known that the owner, Bezos, is a hater of Trump, and he's doing everything he can to try to damage Trump. He did it during the campaigning, and he's still trying to do it, and nobody's believing the bullshit. He has no proof. Every time I see a story, whether left, right, wherever, anonymous sources are quoted as saying, I don't believe it. I do not believe it anymore, because I really believe these quote-unquote journalists just sit there and go, well, this doesn't sound like a good story to post. We have no proof of it. Well, we'll just say an anonymous source called us. Well, you know what we should start doing? Just overloading and start calling Washington Post and New York Times, making up, who we work for, and now we overheard conversations, we saw memos, and just give them bullshit stories as anonymous sources. Oh, we're real close to the president, and he's doing Satanistic rituals. I mean, you need to run that. It's scary. He's sacrificing dogs in the Oval Office. Just overload them with such bullshit stories that they're not going to be able to get much through, because they're going to be just too busy with that bullshit. No threats. I don't believe in threats, but you know what? Just overload their phone lines with that shit. Donald Trump's so upset. I'm an anonymous source. I work in the White House. And Donald Trump's so upset, he's literally had his finger over the button and willing to push it any moment now to get revenge on the Democrats. He's willing to start a war. Just give them ridiculous stories to see which ones they actually post. Record your phone line just so you have proof that it was you that did it. Just overload them. I think that would be hysterical. Their credibility is out the window. I do not believe a single article. If they said the sky is blue outside, I would not believe it. Even if I was standing outside, I wouldn't believe it. That's how bad they have become. I'd be happy. All right, I got to look up. Well, all right. National Enquirer has more credibility than the New York Times or Washington Post anymore. I wouldn't believe them on anything. After the break, we'll talk about Nancy Pelosi and her mouth. That's funny. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, and SHR Media and HP Pundit. I don't want to forget Dan the Man Butchers. And we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Catherine is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mud Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. It's frustration, I'll tell you that. It's annoying what's going on. Here we have Nancy Pelosi, and we're supposed to take her seriously. We are, but what the hell was that?
After the
hell is that music coming from?
I think a lot of vitriol connected.
That's weird. Okay. There it is. Had something running in the background. Sorry about that. All right, let's get to Nancy Pelosi. batshit, senile, crazy Nancy Pelosi.
Invective. I mean, one of the people that went to jail for threats to me, eventually, when they finally found him, because he was very resourceful in hiding, when he was being tried, his mother said, he just watches too much Fox TV. That's what she said. Right now...
She had to get her shot in on Fox.
And our thoughts and prayers for Steve Scalise, for Mr. Micah, and that's really where our hearts are.
See her.
What the? It's a question of gun safety that has never happened. Little babies, little children in kindergarten were massacred and nothing happened. So if you're talking about going back to that kind of a vote. But most of I don't know. I mean, the horrible stuff that I hear that is crude and disgusting really comes from the outside. They may be inflamed. I don't know. This mom said it was Fox News.
She's just sitting there. Fox News, Fox News. But where is the talk about CNN, MSNBCs? They forget that, and they don't want to talk about that. They want to ignore that side. The heck? All right, let's see. I thought I had it. Nancy Pelosi and her. It's just, oh my God. I had the video yesterday. And she's sitting there talking about Scalise, and she says, says he dead. I was like, what the frig? No. Maybe we won't do it. All right, here it is.
Our hearts are broken over the assault that was made, really, on all of us, but personally heartbroken over the
Oh, she's just... And it was an attack on all of us. No, it wasn't. It was not an attack on all of us. It was an attack on conservatives by a lunatic left. And they got to deflect because they know this is damaging because of the violence that they have been perpetuating. They have been talking violence, blood in the street, attack. They're killing us. The Republican... sidetrack. Oh, my God. They're complaining, saying that the Republicans are going to try to push a health bill in the middle of the night. Let that sink in. They're complaining that the Republicans will push a health bill in the middle of the night. That's exactly how Obamacare was passed. It was passed like at midnight. And it was Pelosi who came out and said, you have to know, you have to pass it to know what's in it. Because she's complaining, we don't know what's in it. We don't know what's in it. Well, we didn't know what was in Obamacare because it was a blank goddamn bill we passed. And Bernie Sanders is not innocent in all this shit that's going on because he was he campaigned on Gabby Giffords shooting, blaming Pelosi. He campaigned and raised money on it. And this going back to 2011, I think it was. No. Before that. It was back when he was running as a senator and he campaigned on it. And I got some good news for conservatives. The fans of The Last Man Standing comedy show starring Tim Allen that ABC canceled out of nowhere. It was a highly rated show and canceled. But right now they're looking at the CMT network. The Country Music Television Network is reportedly exploring a revival of the Tim Allen sitcom. 1 month after the highly rated show was canceled, the network is in preliminary discussion with 20th Century Fox TV. Now, here's the funny thing. It was on ABC, but 20th Century Fox owned the rights, the set, everything. So they're shopping it around because they know it's a popular show and it's a moneymaker. There's even been talks they might put it on Fox itself. And ABC is under big fire over this because people are tired of this crap. They're absolutely tired of it. There is an all-out war, and now we see it as actual violence being perpetuated, but it's out-and-out war on conservatives. The left cannot win with their facts, so they have to silence everything about us. It's the only way they'll be able to try to win. They have to silence us. So, it is being looked at, and I'm pretty sure they're going to find a home. Even if you might find Netflix or one of those online that grab it real quick, because that'll add a large audience to them that they need. I mean, well, they're building up, but they're grabbing these shows and developing their own movies and TV series. This should be a good one because they would grab, I think it's like 8 million viewers with ease. Now, CMT has done this before with, what the hell was that show? Can't think of the name of it. Longmire, I think it is. They brought that show back from being canceled when it had popular. But they're saying what may hurt it is Tim Allen has a hefty price tag because he's a big name draw. He just celebrated his 64th birthday this past Tuesday, has stand-up dates scheduled in Las Vegas, and is revising his role as Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story 4. Yeah, the guy is still highly sought after and is commanding a lot of money. But you never know. He might, just to push this show back, take a little pay cut. Probably wouldn't hurt him. It's it's, I don't know. We got to do something. This Trump derangement syndrome is getting worse, and it's now. It was one thing when we were having like fist fights and, okay, some weapons being used, but now it's stepping up. And these Antifas, they're getting worse. On Twitter, they're really pushing it, and they're confronting people and trying to start issues. And these little teeny bopper joke of a people, number one, don't know what they're talking about. Number two, they might get hurt. Now, I'm not making the threat. They're going to push it one time a little bit too far, and they're going to push it in the state because they're in Florida. And I seen it just last night. They are pushing and running their mouth and threatening and trying to confront people. And if they do it in public in a state like this, it may not end well for them, and it will be justified. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see any more bloodshed over this. But they're not listening. They've been brainwashed to think they are in the right. And with that, I want to thank everybody for listening. And don't forget, starting July 3rd, we will be moving to the 9 p.m. time slot right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio. Everybody, have a great day. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.